Picture this. It's Monday morning. You've just joined a high-growth startup. The CTO tells you the bleeding edge. You open the README. The first instruction is install Postgres 14.2 locally. The second is run the 400-line shell script to seed the database. The third, if it fails, talk to Dave, but Dave left the company in 2023. We all have been there. We spent the first 3 days of a new job fighting with environment variables and wondering why localhost 5432 is already used by a forgotten zombie process from a project you abandoned 2 years ago. We call ourselves software architects, but most of our time is spent playing digital plumber connecting pipes that shouldn't be leaking in the first place. Today, we're ending that in 2026. If your setup process involves more than one command, you aren't hardcore, you're just inefficient. My name is Sergio, and I've been building software for 15 years, which means I've spent probably 5 of those years waiting for Docker to start our debugging course. This video is the first entry in a new playlist, Fullstack 2026, React and Spring Boot. We are building a complete production-ready system from the ground up. No legacy baggage, no tutorial-only shortcuts. If you're ready to stop overcomplicating your life and start shipping, hit subscribe. We're going deep. Before we touch the code, let's address the psychological denial of a modern developer. We love to lie to ourselves. Lie number 1. I don't need Docker for dev. My local machine is clean. No, it's not. Your machine is a graveyard of conflicting node versions and half-configured databases. Lie number 2. Reactive programming is the only way to scale. We spent years learning Webflux and Project Reactor because we were told threads are expensive. We traded readable code for callback hell 2.0 because we were scared of the OS. Line number 3. I will manually keep my front-end types in sync with the backend. No, you won't. You will change a field from UID to string in Java. Forget the TypeScript interface, and the first time you will realize it is when the customer gets object in their dashboard. We do these things because of the cargo cult programming. We saw a big tech company do it in 2018, so we assume it's the law. In 2026, the law has changed. In the old days, meaning 2 years ago, you had to manage your Docker Compose YAML manually. You'd run Docker Compose up, wait, then run your Spring Boot app. If you forgot the first step, your app crashed with a connection refused exception. In Spring Boot 3.4, we use the Spring Boot Docker Compose module. The application owns the infrastructure. The junior way, a separate README section for Docker, manual port mapping, and inevitable port 5432 already in use errors. The professional way, then you just place a compose YAML in your root. When you hit run in your IDE, Spring Boot sees this file, calls the Docker API, finds a free port, and injects the connection properties automatically. No application properties database URL needed. It just works. For a decade, we were told that if we want to handle 10,000 concurrent users, we need to use a non-blocking I/O. We wrote code that looked like a plate of spaghetti just to save some memory. Project Loom changed the game. In 2026, if you are writing reactive code for a standard CRUD application, you are over-engineering for a problem that no longer exists. The general way, one OS thread per request. If the database is slow, the server chokes. The professional way, in the application properties, and that's it. That's the tweet. By enabling this, Spring Boot uses virtual threads for Tomcat and all the task executors. You can now write simple blocking imperative code that is easy to debug, while the JVM handles millions of threads under the hood. In the past, thread sleep was a sin. In 2026, with virtual threads, it's another line of code. The carrier thread is released and your throughput stays high. React 19 is finally here, and it's finally fixing the mess we made with useMemo and useCallback. We spent years trying to optimize the renders manually, usually making it worse because we didn't understand dependency arrays. The React compiler now does this for us. It analyzes your code and automatically memorizes what needs to be memorized. First, we set up Vite with the compiler. Then in your Vite config ts, you enable the compiler plugin. With the compiler active, your components look like normal JavaScript again. No hooks cluttering the logic. The machine is smarter than you. Let it handle the optimization. If I see one more cross-origin star in a production Spring Boot controller, I'm going to retire and start a code farm. Of course, it's not a bug, it's a security feature, but developers hate it because it breaks the local workflow. The solution is manually to disable the security globally, which eventually leaks into production. The junior way, adding cross-origin to every controller, but the professional way, use the Vite proxy we just saw in the configuration. By routing API requests through Vite, the browser thinks the request is going to the same origin. Here is the React code and the Spring Boot code. No security headers needed for dev, no pre-flagged request overhead, it's clean and it mirrors how you likely deploy in production behind a gateway or Nginx. We are 40 years old. Well, I am. I don't have time to debug undefined properties. If your backend returns a field name created at and your frontend expects the underscore, that's fail. The professional approach, we define a strict DTO on the backend and immediately mirror it in TypeScript. In the next videos of this series, I will show how to automate this using OpenAPI generator. But for now, manual synchronization is your debt payment. If you change the Java record, you change the TypeScript interface. No exceptions. Why do we keep building the fragile stacks? It's usually ego. We want to feel like genius, so we choose the most complex tool available. We choose Kubernetes for a blog. We choose microservices for a team of 2. We choose reactive stream for a database that only has 100 rows. We do this because we are afraid that if the code is simple, we aren't real engineers. But a senior engineer knows that the best code is the code that can be deleted. The 2026 stack is about removing the smart parts of our code and letting the platform do the heavy lifting. I can hear the comments. Well, actually, Sergio, virtual threads aren't a silver bullet for CPU band tests. Correct. If you are mining Bitcoin in your Spring Boot controller, Loom won't save you. But you're not mining Bitcoin. You're fetching a JSON from a database and sending it to a browser. For 99% of business logic, virtual threads are the end of the debate. Well, actually, the React compiler is still experimental. It's 2026. If you're still manually optimizing renders while the rest of the world is using automated toolchains, you're the one who is experimental. Stop fighting the tools and start using them to ship features. If you want to move to the 2026 stack today, follow these steps. Update JDK. Get onto the Java 21 or 25 immediately, there is no excuse. Enable Docker Compose support. Add the dependency to your POM XML. Delete your database setup section in the README. Flip the switch. Set Spring Threads Virtual enabled true. Watch your thread dump get 10 times smaller and 100 times more efficient. Adopt React 19. Use Vite, remove use memo from your vocabulary. Let the compiler earn its keep. Proxy your API. Remove every cross-origin annotation from your backend. Clean up your security config. Setting up a project is the easy part. Keeping it simple is the real challenge. You now have a foundation that scales to millions of users without needing a PhD in distributed systems. In the next video, we're going to talk about modern state management, how to stop using Redux for things it wasn't meant for, and let Stack Query handle the heavy lifting. Now go delete some code you don't need, and see you in the next video. Bye!